Welcome back to the family meeting. We are so glad to be back with you. I'm Thomas. This is my very silly wife, Lysandra.
Hi, welcome to episode 303 of the Family Meeting Podcast.
We are looking forward to a great day. Been a good week so far, love. What have you had going on this week?
I am doing everything wedding, all things wedding. That actually, what you can't see is behind this pallet wall is our dining room. This is our living room. Our dining room looks like a wedding threw up.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like you can't walk in there. We've been, me and my daughter, Catherine, oldest daughter, 20 years old. She's getting married, for those of you who don't know. And so we have been working on like flower arrangements and all this. And on Saturday morning, her bridesmaids are coming over and they're each making their own bouquet. Okay. So each bouquet is going to be a little bit different, but yet all to have some of the same elements. So all of the supplies for their bouquets are out in groupings, and it's just like you can't walk out there.
How does it make you feel to know that room is a mess?
It affects me negatively emotionally. Like it gives me a little bit of anxious energy. Like I don't have anxiety because of it, but like I have anxious energy.
Okay.
And I also know that it's part of what has to happen right now, and it's okay. Like we don't have company coming over right now in a way because of that. Like it's just like this isn't a good time to have people over.
You are not welcome.
Yeah. And her bridal shower is a week from Saturday. So I know that by then everything has to get wrapped up in there. So it's like, okay, let's get as many things, flower arrangements finished and stuff before we have to pack it all up, so we don't have to get it all back out again. So,
yeah.
But that's what's going on in our house. It's nuts. But it's mostly contained to one room.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, I can look around and see a few wedding things here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So it's taking over, but it's going to be here before we know it.
Yes. And it's so much fun.
Yeah, I was going around to the fire stations, for those of you who are new to the podcast, along with leading Beachside Community Church. I am the fire chaplain for our county fire organization. And so I was going around to the different fire stations. We were just kind of catching up with those I hadn't seen in a little while and talking about the fact that Catherine's getting married. It's our oldest daughter, first daughter getting married. And I know that this is what we have worked for her entire life, but nothing has still prepared me for this kind of transition where she's going to be moving out of her house. Because people were asking me like, okay, what are the other girls' plans now that she's leaving? So like we were talking about all of that, and it's a weird time to be a parent. Those of you that have gone through it, like what have been the things that have helped you in the transition the most?
It's funny because today we're talking about change tolerance, and we are going through huge changes in our life. So I think it'll be it's a good time to talk about this.
Most change I look forward to the challenges that come with it, but it's weird being a dad whose job has been to protect these kids my entire life, their entire lives, and now having one moving out of the house where
You're passing that torch.
I am. But her fiance, her soon-to-be husband, Corey, is a great guy. We love him. He'll take great care of her. I know that he's going to protect her. This is one of the things I was telling the guys, too, about Corey, is he is an extremely hard worker.
Yes.
And so I know that she is going to be taken care of, and that does me good. But at the same time, it's hard not being the one who is making sure that she's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look like you're getting a little glossy-eyed.
Yeah, so it's emotional. It's a little bit emotional, but
it is. And it's weird. This is something that I bet anybody who's gone through this before can also attest to, is that you don't know when the emotion is going to hit. Like, you can, you like people are like, oh, you're going to be so emotional when she tries on her wedding dress. And like, I wasn't. I was just happy. And then all of a sudden, like, a song plays in the car and I'm driving and I'm weeping and I can barely see the road. It's like, that came out of nowhere. So
that actually just happened the other night. We were on our way home listening to the song that is going to, our youngest daughter's going to sing.
In the wedding.
While they're doing like a unity tree or something like that. And then the family's going to pray together over them. And so you were crying as we were
Yes.
driving down the road.
I'm like, oh, this is not a good time for this. I can't be crying right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's inconvenient, but
So that's what's going on kind of in our lives, in our world right now. We'd love to hear what's going on in your lives and in your world. What are you doing this summer? America celebrating 250 as we record this. July 4th is just a couple of days away. This will come out a couple weeks later. But what are you doing to celebrate? Like, how was the 4th of July for you? What do you got going on during the summer? Drop it in the comments there. We'd love to be able to see what you're doing. You always
Yes.
hear about us. We want to hear about you as
Right.
well. So that's what's going on. What are we actually going to be talking about today?
we are going to be talking about high change tolerance versus low change tolerance, and what's interesting is high tolerance for change oftentimes also means that person is more comfortable with high risk, and low tolerance for change oftentimes means that person has a very low tolerance for risk as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how that plays into how you and your spouse handle change.
I was reading a book. I just finished it up called The AI Driven Leader, which was a fascinating book. It wasn't really about how to use AI. It was more on a leadership book and how to use AI kind of as something to help you think through and work through things. But the author was talking about how you have like a super small percentage that are very excited about the change and what's going on. And then you have maybe 8 or 9% of your people who are early adopters. So it's like they'll jump on early, but about 85% of people, in an organization are very slow to adopt change or just don't like change at all. So there's a high percentage that if you are the person excited about it, you are married to somebody who doesn't want anything to do with change.
Exactly. And like, it's really difficult because change is a natural part of life. It is going to happen. But how you feel about change can determine how often you implement change yourself. And if you and your spouse are at opposite ends of the spectrum with change, like me and Thomas are, it can bring up a lot of conflict, disagreements, resentment, and anger. Things like that can come into play. So what we want to talk about today is why you and your spouse handle change differently, and why understanding your spouse's comfort level with change can really transform your marriage. It can help you in your parenting, in your communication, in your relationships with other people too.
Yeah.
So if you and your spouse kind of seem to like approach every major decision differently, then we're hoping that this episode is going to help you appreciate the differences and work well with them instead of fighting over them and looking at them as a negative aspect of your relationship. They really can be a positive thing.
Well, and because I know Lysandra is not excited about change, it helps me be able to approach possible upcoming changes in a certain way with her, and to like prepare her, get her ready, talk about what's going to happen, try to give her as full a picture as possible. So for those of you who are new to the podcast, this is just how you've always known it. But with episode 299 was the last episode in the old format. We had a table in front of us. We sat shoulder to shoulder, kind of facing out.
Computers in front of us.
Yeah, so we were like behind a lot of stuff. We were shoulder to shoulder, hard to look at each other, hard to have like a real good conversation with each other. And so as I was getting ready to like change how we did things, how we set things up, I'm trying to like as much as possible ease Lysandra into it.
And I still have been like, I don't like it.
Yeah. So this is the third episode you've recorded sitting in that chair. How do you feel after you've got 2 under your belt? This is the third one being recorded. How do you feel about the change?
So, like, I get it. Like, I get it. There are things that I like about it. I like that I'm facing you a little bit more, and it's easier to talk to you, because before we were, very like, yeah. So I like that, and I like that feels more like we're welcoming you into our living room, because this is much more how our living room feels on a regular basis.
Well, and this
I
is
like that.
literally being recorded in our living room. So
Right.
we move all the living room furniture out for the most part, at least half of it, and then we move all this stuff in and we set up. But yeah.
So I like that it is more of like a homey feel, and it feels comfy, and I like that. I miss being hidden by a table. For those of you women who have had children, you understand, like, my stomach is not my best feature. And then to put me in a chair and like squish it is like not flattering. So I'm like, okay, now what's going to hide my stomach?
So
there's no table.
Here's what you've done. Literally no one was paying attention to your stomach until
Everyone was paying attention to my stomach. That's all they saw.
And then you mentioned it, and now everybody's like, let me see what's going on there.
Yeah, what is it?
What is she
She's
trying?
Right, it is huge.
What's she trying to hide?
No, but that's just it. I'm not really trying to hide it. I'm telling you, like, this is literally what goes through my head. So I don't like that. And whether or not Thomas knows it or is okay with it, which this is good marriage and modeling here, I'm going to get myself a footstool. It's too high for me.
No, it isn't.
I need
Put
a
shoes
footstool,
on,
babe. I don't want to wear high heels so that I can sit in this chair.
You don't need high heels.
What's bad is I picked these chairs. I love these chairs. They're so nice
great.
and they're cute and they're comfortable to sit in, but I'm a little short, so I have to sit crisscross applesauce.
You don't have to.
I don't have to, but yeah. So those are some things that I'm getting used to. I also can't see out the window as much to see my squirrels, birds, slugs, lizards. But I can still see a little bit. I just have to kind of look this way a little.
You missed the cat this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't. Was there a cat out there today?
I saw it. Yeah.
See, so I
was trying not to keep you distracted.
I'm a little less distracted, which is probably good for all of you, but I like to watch animals. So
yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I'm doing with it.
Okay.
How are you doing with the change?
Great.
You're happier than ever before.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep,
Yeah.
He would be.
So
we'll get into like all of that change stuff here in just a second.
Before we do, though, I want to encourage you, if you've not done so yet, to pick up your copy of Discipline That Works. This book is designed to be a manual to help you in the worst part of parenting, and that is discipline. No matter what parents you talk to, discipline is the worst part of it. I was having a conversation just yesterday with one of the guys in the fire station. He was talking about his sons, because I have 4 daughters and he's got a daughter and a couple of sons. And so he was talking about the issues they had, and they were over at grandma's house. They were told like certain things not to go near and do. And I guess they went near and were playing around roughly on her rocking chair and put a hole in the wall at grandma's house. And so he packed them up, brought them home, and then took them out in the backyard, and they did a workout session, did running, push-ups, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, get this though. He said he had a older neighbor lady come over and was mad at him, telling him he was abusing his kids for making them do exercises.
Oh my goodness.
She was going to call like child services and stuff.
No.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. Everybody's got their opinions about what's appropriate for parenting.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I can't imagine a father is outside working out with his sons.
Like he was doing the exercises too.
Yes.
Then that's not abuse.
No, he was running with them and doing the exercises.
It's like, obviously everybody's okay.
But I can't imagine like going over to my neighbor's house and, confronting him on working out with his children. And it's not like they were little toddlers or whatever, like 10 and 7 or something like that. I forget exactly, but it was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things with discipline. Like, what do we do? How do we discipline them? And this book will be, I guarantee it, a great help to you. So whether you have kids right now, no matter what age they're at, this book will shed some insight. Or even if you don't have kids yet, but you're going to have kids someday. I wish that I had a book like this before we ever had kids.
Me too. That would have helped me a lot before we had kids.
We never would have wrote it, because a lot of the book is mistakes and stuff that we made along the way, and some that we're still making and working through as our kids older, because this is one of the things that we talk about with parenting. Every stage of parenting is brand new for all of us. So when we first had our oldest daughter, 20 years ago, I'd never been a dad before. I'd watched young children. I have a brother who's 17 years younger than me. Spent a lot of time watching Jonathan, or Jumbo as I call him, because he was a freaking huge baby.
He was.
But spent a lot of time watching him, but I'd never been a father before. And then our second born, Isabella, comes along. I've been a parent. I've been a dad, but I've never been a dad to 2 kids. And then 3, and then 4. I've never been a dad of a teenager before, or 4 teenagers, or a 20-year-old, or a daughter who's getting married. So every step of the way is something that is brand new, which means you're going to make mistakes. There are things to learn, challenges to overcome. And so we've kind of tried to put everything that we could and learn and have learned into this book. And so I think it'll be a great help to you. You can get it over at Amazon.com. Type in Discipline That Works with Osterkamp, or just type in Lysandra Osterkamp, and it will come right up. And get your copy today. It'll be a great help to you.
Okay, so I just have a confession to make, because when you were talking about Jumbo,
yeah,
I was like, man, he was a big baby. And then my mind started wandering on this trail of like remembering little flashbacks of Jonathan and how cute he was as a baby. So I'm going to confess something to the podcast.
Okay.
Do you remember when we were teenagers and Thomas and I were crushing on each other as teenagers? So his little baby brother, so cute, and I've always loved babies. So I was at our church and we were hanging out in the gym, and you had Jumbo. You were like watching him while your mom, the church secretary, was working.
Yeah.
And I came over there and I was holding Jumbo, and he was in his Winnie the Pooh outfit.
Yes.
And it had like a hood with the like Winnie Pooh ears, and his face was so fat in that thing. It was so cute.
He was a huge baby.
He was huge.
Yeah.
And I was holding him, and our other friend bumped me, and I dropped Jonathan in the gym. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I forgot about that till right now.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, don't tell your mom. Don't tell your mom.
Yeah.
And we're like looking at him like, is the baby okay? Which, I mean, he was an older baby.
I mean, if you know Jonathan now, it actually explains a lot. I mean.
Sorry, Jonathan. I think I'm the cause of all of your problems.
Yeah.
I dropped you when you were a baby and we never told your mother.
Yeah.
I was 13. I was a kid.
And now he's in his 20s. He looks like Sloth.
He does not.
And you're the blame.
He does not. He's a very handsome young man. So everything is fine. But I just felt like I needed to confess that get that off
I forgot
my
all
chest.
about that. That's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that is hilarious. I forgot all about that. Anyway, okay, so let's change the subject quickly.
Yeah. Away from aunting and parenting and sister-in-law.
Yeah. And like dropping babies. All right. Why does one spouse embrace change and the other resist it? It's very frustrating, especially if you're not lined up on this. And it would be interesting to like monitor or observe a couple who is identical in the way they approach change and how they feel about change.
I'm sure if they're both opposed to change, like everything stays the same all the time.
Right.
And when it doesn't, there's probably mad chaos.
I agree. And I also think that they probably lack some growth because being comfortable with change forces growth a lot of times. I'm not saying you can't grow without change, but
we rarely grow in our comfort zones.
Yeah.
I was talking about this Sunday at our beach service. We're doing a series on Unsinkable. Yes, thank you. And we're talking using the account of Paul's shipwreck in Acts 27 and 28. Big storms that come, and so just talking about the fact that we really don't grow without pain, without difficulty. We've got to be uncomfortable. Growth rarely happens when we're comfortable.
Right, exactly. So I'm sure that if like two people who are married to one another are both opposed to change, that they can become a little stagnant maybe in like growth in different areas.
I could see that.
But now imagine if it's two people who love change. I feel like there would be very little stability, be mad chaos like all the time.
Yeah.
And is it possible that growth couldn't happen because you're not staying long enough to like work at something or get good at something or learn something. I don't know.
That could definitely happen. I could see people switching jobs a lot, moving a lot.
Just thinking, right? So, but maybe that's like, maybe you guys don't necessarily agree on change and you don't approach it the same way. Maybe one of you is ready to move, change jobs, rearrange the house, try something new all the time. Whereas the other one wants stability and predictability and time to process.
Yeah. So, we moved into this house, and before I moved into this house, Lysander had an idea and kind of arranged how the furniture would be. I'm just speaking the living room right now where we're recording this. Furniture was set up in a certain way, stayed that way for
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. And then all of a sudden, like, you rearranged for a party and we just kind of left it that way. And I was actually very surprised that you rearranged things on your own.
Well, and I'll explain what happened with that. Is we had multiple parties back to back.
Yeah.
So we kept we were changing the furniture to like the party setting where it accommodated more people in the living room.
Yeah.
And then I'd put it back to like the more like intimate setting. And we kept doing this back and forth. And pretty soon I was like, the kids are getting physically bigger. Like they're adults now. They're not children.
Toddlers.
Because when we moved in, our youngest was 10. She turned 11 two weeks later.
Yeah.
So like an 11-year-old is not the same size as a almost 16-year-old, right? So it's like, it's just they're adults now. And then they have their adult friends who are coming over. So now we're talking like, I just need more space for more adults. And so as I continued to move it back and forth, I was like, I think that this is a better way. And so I did change it.
For reference sake, our house in Iowa, where we lived for 14 years, I don't think the furniture changed ever.
It never did.
The arrangement was exactly the same when we left as in the first day we moved in.
14 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was a little weird when 4 years in, things have been shifted around.
Right, exactly. And the deal is that neither approach is wrong to change.
Okay.
Whether you like change or not, neither approach is wrong.
I disagree, but
what do you think?
Change is the right thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're right and I'm wrong.
You heard it here first, folks. She said it.
Yeah.
She is the one who said it. Mm. But in reality, neither approach is wrong.
Right. Neither approach is actually wrong. But if you don't understand the other, then these differences can become like a constant source of conflict for both of you.
Yeah, definitely. But before we dig into the differences, strengths and weaknesses of high or low tolerance for change, let's answer the question of why.
Ooh.
Why do spouses respond differently to change?
Okay.
Why don't you and your spouse see eye to eye on what is comfortable change in your lives? So you're like us. We've been married for almost 23 years. We're about a month away from 23 years. And we are alike in a lot of ways, polar opposites in others. But we don't see eye to eye. But it's different.
Yeah.
People respond differently to change because of a combination of several things. First of all, you have temperament to take into consideration. Some people are just naturally more adaptable. I am somebody who is more of a kind of go with the flow type of person. And Lysander is not that.
I love plans. Plans make me happy. Plans make me feel comfortable. And so if I have a plan for my day and like this is my plan, and then somebody cancels an appointment or something comes up and it changes, which of course happens all the time, I don't care for that. Like it doesn't ruin my day by any means. When I was younger, it was worse.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've like worked very hard to get comfortable.
You would become kind of lost. Like, I don't know what to do now that the plan has been changed.
Exactly. And so it took me longer to like process that change and get to the point of acceptance and make a new plan. Whereas like being self-aware, right? Like I know that this is my thing, that I don't like change. Then what I would do is I would try to work through that quicker so that I could get to the point of acceptance and a new plan in a much more efficient way. And so I feel like now I do. Like now when things change. I still don't like it, but I'm like, okay, what's the new plan? All right, got it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's more so how I am now.
But temperament's a big part of that. So some are more adaptable, some are just naturally kind of more cautious, and it's part of who they are as a person, not something that they just choose.
Right, exactly. And so understanding that about your spouse can be really helpful.
Yeah.
Another thing that affects it is past experiences, right? So someone who has experienced positive life transitions may approach change with confidence, whereas someone who has experienced loss, instability, trauma, or repeated disappointment may associate change with uncertainty or fear. And this is interesting because we just had lunch yesterday with a couple who came from very different families. One was unstable, and there was like divorce and remarriage and moving a lot.
Yep.
And then the other one was like, just like the nuclear family lived in the same place.
Grandparents on both sides married for like 50 years.
Yep.
Parents married
Stay
for
in the
20
same
some
place.
years.
Yeah. So like very stable. So when she came in, she was saying just yesterday that she doesn't want to move a lot. She doesn't want the instability. So even though she grew up with probably a lot of change, that hasn't translated to her loving change.
Yeah.
Her past experience has made her feel uncomfortable with change because it wasn't always positive for her.
Yep.
So whatever your past experience with changes, that can affect how you approach change now. So understanding that about your spouse can help a long way when you're approaching change differently.
Another why has to do with personality. So different personality traits influence how people process change. Some people make decisions quickly, right? And embrace new possibilities. Others prefer gathering information and thinking things through, planning before acting. So introverts may need quiet time to process change, while extroverts often process by talking with others.
Right. Okay, another why, sense of control. Oh.
Yeah.
Control, what's that? I love control.
Yes.
But people generally cope better with changes they choose than with changes forced upon them. And I feel like in our marriage, every change is forced upon me. I rarely choose the change.
Rarely, yeah.
But that's because I don't like change. So why would I like try to implement change? Usually it's Thomas being like, all right, I think that this thing over here needs to change, or I think that this will be better, or whatever.
This new adventure, this new start.
Yes. Yes. So an example would be like choosing to start a new job often feels exciting, but being unexpectedly laid off, that causes stress. That's not exciting and fun, right?
Yep.
So both involve a job change, but one, the change is forced upon you, whereas the other, you're like making that choice. So having input into the process increases your sense of safety in the change. So that's something to keep in mind if your spouse is the one who doesn't like change. Okay, make sure that they have input into the process, because that will make them feel better about the change, because they're looking for control. I know I am always looking for control, which of course that's an issue that I have to go to my Heavenly Father about and say, Lord, I give you control. I release control to you and just trust you. And that has been a lifelong journey.
How does it make you feel when you're not in control of situations?
Uncomfortable. I don't like it. Mm-hmm.
Just uncomfortable? Like, do you have fear associated with that, or like?
I don't think it's fear.
Okay.
No, I just, you know what it is.
What is it about that makes you feel uncomfortable?
This makes me such a bad person.
Then please tell us.
I know you love it when I tell how bad I am. It's pride.
Okay.
Because I think that my way is better.
Okay.
And so I'm like, this is going this direction and it's all going to fail. If we did it my way, it would be better. And this is how I think it should be.
To be fair, like most of the things you do are done very well, very excellently. So
that was nice. He was nice to me. Is this being recorded?
I'm nice to you all the time. Yeah, well, not all the time, but
yeah, no, you aren't.
I'm nice to you a lot.
Okay.
But truly, like when you're in control of things, whether it's an event or situations or whatever, you handle it very well. It turns out very well. So
yeah, but ultimately, when it boils down, it comes to pride.
Yeah,
I'm better. My way is better. The way that I think something should be run is better, and that's pride.
Sure, I could see that.
And multiple times I've been in situations where I'm like, okay, this isn't how I would do it, but it's going to work out just fine.
Yeah.
And that also, though, has been years of like working at that thing that I know is my problem.
Sure.
And like knowing, okay, I always want to be in control and I think my way is best, but that is not true. There are multiple ways to do everything. And then like working really hard to like delegate things to other people and allowing them to do them their way, even though it's not my way, and then being okay with them being different.
Do you see this playing out in the wedding planning? Because obviously it's not your wedding.
It's not my wedding.
You're not in full control of what's happening. You have a lot of input, and Catherine wants your input. But how are you handling the parts where, like, this is not the way that I would do it?
I think I'm handling it very well. Internally, I definitely have some, like, let it go. It's not important. Let it go. It's not important, But like externally, I think I'm handling it fine.
Okay.
I know sometimes my face gives me away, but to be fair, this isn't the first wedding I've planned. I've planned like so many weddings over the years for church people who, they like just for free. I'm not a professional wedding planner by any means, but like
you could be.
When ladies in our church wanted to get married, they'd be like, "Can you help me?" And I'm like, "Of course. What do you want me to do? I'll do anything." And then I end up, kind of being their wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
And I love that. But every wedding is the same thing. It's not my wedding. So what do you want? Okay, I'll help you make that happen, even if it's not the way I would do it.
Which, although that's true, this is a little more personal because
much more personal.
You're paying for most of it.
Yes, which is like interesting.
So that's part of it. But also it's like your daughter, your family, this thing that you have thought about and dreamed about basically this child's whole life.
Yeah.
So
that's true. But no, it's fine.
What are some of the specifics where you're like, okay, I would do this differently? I mean, if you can share them with us. I don't even know, but like.
Yeah, I'll be careful what I say just out of respect for Catherine, but I can give a perfect example. Her future father-in-law has offered so graciously to build her an octagon arch. Well, any arch she wanted, and she chose octagon. And he is an amazing carpenter. He's very talented. So we were both really excited. And actually, Catherine and I were going to build it together, like as a mother-daughter thing. And the fact that he offered just took that off of our plate.
Nice.
And was amazing. So anyway, so we're creating swags to go on that. That's what we did yesterday or the day before. And just the way that those are made. Like we made them together.
Yeah.
And I laid out all the flowers that she has already picked, and it was like, okay, which ones do you want on this? Because this is the main piece. Like this is going to be behind them when they get married. It's going to be in all their wedding photos. And so it's got to be the best of all of her stuff. Like, what do you love? And we're going to put that on this. And so she picked all those items, which are things I wouldn't have picked. Like, they're not ugly. They're beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out very well. Yeah.
It did. It's just not what I would have picked. And then the way that we made it. So it was like, okay, I'm thinking this. What do you think? And we're going back and forth. And so I'm giving my opinions, but ultimately she makes the decision, and then we do it that way. And so that has been a challenge just because, like, if I were making them by myself, they wouldn't look the same. They would look different.
Yeah.
Although they turned out beautiful.
Yeah.
They're just not my flower arrangements. They're her flower arrangements that I helped her make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a good example?
Yeah, I was just curious, like what their specifics were. So.
Yeah. No, I have no like. There's no big thing that I've been like, I hate this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been good, but that's the thing, like that control.
Yeah.
I'm a controlling person. It's something that I have worked on my whole life, and I continue to.
And you made huge progress. So well done on that.
And huge progress to go.
Yeah. But I think I've helped a little bit with that. So
you have, and we can explain why later.
Yeah. So another why you and your spouse are so different when it comes to change tolerance has to do with current circumstances as well. Even people who normally handle change well can struggle when they are already under pressure. And anytime there's a bunch of stress and a bunch of pressure, you kind of react differently to the things that are going on in your life. I was having a conversation with a guy at the gym named Mickey, and his job that he does, he's working in the back of a truck delivering some stuff, and it's been really hot here in Florida. And so while he's driving to different places, he's in the cab and it's nice and AC'd and all that, but a lot of his day is spent working basically in the back of an oven, and he gets home and he's just exhausted.
Absolutely.
And having some issues with his wife, who's not being very understanding of the circumstances. And I was just relating to him this exact fact. Like, when you are tired and under stress and under pressure, things that normally wouldn't really bother you can become a big deal.
That's true.
And so when you have factors like financial stress, and a lot of people are under financial stress right now with the economy, the uncertainty of like the war in Iran and the oil situation and prices going up, inflation and all of this stuff, maybe parenting demands that can add a lot of stress and pressure to your life. If you've got health concerns, things like that happening, whether it's in your own life, a family member, somebody close to you that you love, that can come out in different ways. Sleep deprivation, so not getting a lot of sleep.
I don't think any of us really fully understand how important sleep is in our lives.
Yeah.
If one of you is not sleeping, or both of you are not sleeping, maybe it's a new baby situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, everything is harder, and your health is affected, your emotions, everything is affected by sleep. It's so important.
Yep. And so you've got that. Maybe it's relationship conflict, like whether it's if you're married with kids or whatever else. And so if you've got these different things going on, even if you normally have a high tolerance to change, like that can really come into play. So one may be like, it's like you never have a problem with change or with things that kind of pop up. What's the situation here?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times it is that extra stress that's going on there.
Okay, so that's the why. Those are the factors that can affect why your spouse loves change or hates change or whatever it may be. And it's helpful to understand those things.
Yeah.
Because understanding makes all the difference in a marriage when you just have a little understanding. Which, by the way, side note, that actually makes all the difference when you're trying to approach change to your spouse who doesn't like change.
Yeah.
When Thomas comes to me and tells me, I want to make this change, I immediately have like a tightening.
For some of you, when you go to the doctor and they use the C word, that's cancer. And that's a big deal. For us around our house, it's the word change.
It is.
For
it's
Lysandra.
Change. I don't like change. But when he does come to me and tells me the change, like if he can be like, and here's why. This is going to be better because once I have the understanding of the why behind it, I can get on board a lot faster.
Yeah.
And even if I don't like it, I'm like, okay, I don't like this, but I'm pushing through because it's a good thing. It's going to get us somewhere.
Like, for instance, we've talked about the change with how we do the podcast and everything. Lysandra was like, I don't necessarily like the change. These are the reasons I don't like it, but I understand what this change is about. Like, I understand it. So even though she doesn't necessarily like it at first, she goes along with it once she does understand, like, okay, this makes sense why we're doing this.
Exactly.
But we're talking about change tolerance here. And it refers to how comfortable a person is with uncertainty, transitions, adapting when life doesn't go as planned. And this is something that we've got to learn how to get comfortable with, because life never just goes according to whatever it is you have planned.
Nope.
I mean, think about your life, and we all kind of grow up and we develop these dreams and these plans of how everything is going to go. And some things do go according to plan, but most things don't. Like, they don't necessarily work out what's going to happen. And I think about my own life. You know, I came to know Jesus as my Savior when I was 19 years old, called to preach a couple of weeks later, went to school to be a pastor, and I kind of had this idea of what it was going to be like to be in ministry and all that. And nobody teaches you what to do when you and your wife are both fired from that job on the same day. Like, I would have never planned that. It's not how I envisioned everything going. But it's all those circumstances that have led us here to where we're at now, doing what we love to do. And seeing God do some amazing things in ways we never even would imagine. But things don't go according to plan.
No.
And when we think about change tolerance, it like a lot of things exists on a spectrum. So rather than being good or bad, depending on where you're at in this, high or low. Each of them have kind of strengths, but they also have challenges that go along with that as well.
Right, exactly. So we want to talk about like the strengths and challenges of being comfortable with change or being really avoidant of change. So let's talk about high change tolerance first. This is our example of high change tolerance, Thomas Osterkamp.
Amazing specimen.
Yes, he is. Woo! All right. Someone with high change tolerance generally adapts quickly to new situations and is comfortable with uncertainty. You are fine with uncertainty, aren't you?
Totally. Yeah.
Don't even understand that. Oh. Okay, here's your common characteristics.
All right, let's see how well I line up with this.
You check the box if you can.
Okay.
Enjoys new experiences.
Check, yeah.
Enjoys new challenges.
Yes.
Okay. Can adjust plans without becoming overwhelmed.
Yes.
Sees change as an opportunity for growth.
Definitely.
Is willing to take calculated risks.
Yeah, sometimes not even calculated.
Calculated and uncalculated.
Yes.
Recovers relatively quickly from unexpected setbacks.
I think so.
I think I would check every single box for you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here are strengths to high change tolerance. Typically are flexible and resilient during life transitions.
And you are.
Which I think is true of me. Innovative and open to new ideas.
Yes, you are.
That's definitely true. Less likely to become stuck when plans change. And of course, we talked about how, especially early on, you were just kind of lost. Like, I really don't know what to do. Now what you do is when something cancels or plans change, you immediately try to fill that up as soon as possible with something else, which we talked about within the last couple of episodes about, I was like looking forward to the fact that, hey, all your stuff canceled. We could possibly do a date night or whatever. And when I reached out about it, you're like, oh yeah, I already filled the schedule back up.
Every hour in 20 minutes.
This is true as well. Often helps others stay calm during uncertainty.
Yeah, you're good at that.
A source of calm and
the rock.
All the girls talk about that as well. It's like
they do.
I'm kind of, no matter what's happening, dad is there to like calm us down, make sure we feel good and safe and comfortable. So
yeah.
So those are the strengths. Let's talk about the challenges.
Challenges, or we could call them weaknesses, but we won't. Challenges. So let's talk about all your negativity, babe.
Yeah.
Okay. May become bored with routine.
That's
yes,
definitely true.
You do. I'm like, why can't we just have a routine? Because Thomas is bored.
And this kind of comes out with doing things as well, because I get really excited about new challenges, new opportunities. And I am a person who is like, okay, let's get it started. But I'm rarely the person who is like, I'm going to finish it.
I know.
It's like, she's the one who comes in and like it makes sure it gets to the finish line when things happen.
Yes, absolutely. Most definitely. Here's the deal though, with you getting bored and stuff, it's a good thing you don't get bored with me. How do you not get bored with me?
Well, you have so many personalities. Each day is like, all right, things have changed. Who am I dealing with now?
You're welcome.
Which one of our personalities?
You're welcome. I never thought that was a good thing till this moment.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Can underestimate how difficult change is for others.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's something that I've had to deal with, leading an organization. I lead a church and have been doing that for quite a while. And in both the churches that I have led, you're constantly leading through change.
Always. Churches
are living organisms, and so change has come in both scenarios for what I believe to be the better. Like, I don't believe in changing things just to change things, but I can often, if I'm not careful, I've learned this, and so I'm working to get better at this. But definitely early on, I think about good news and some of the changes, not really understanding how difficult and hard it is for people.
Right, and I think in a way, being married to me has helped you understand that of the masses.
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I've gotten a lot better of trying to explain the why and kind of teach and lead people along rather than just making an abrupt change.
Right. Okay, may make decisions too quickly without considering stability. I don't feel like you do that as much. What do you think?
Depends on the circumstances. When it comes to the family, I'm very considerate about the stability and understanding, especially for like my kids, knowing that stability is super important for kids. But you as well, like, so that's kind of helped. I have a high priority with family. You know, I got my faith and family shirt on. High priority with family. Obviously, this is a family meeting podcast, and so family's important to us. So that has always been higher on the list, and making sure that the family understands stability.
Yeah, because I don't feel like you do that. Could unintentionally pressure others to just move on. You used to do that so bad.
Yeah.
You don't do that anymore, but that's because you've grown.
Yes.
It is amazing how much, if you put effort into bettering yourself, growing in the Word of God, growing in your relationship with Christ, and your actual overall person, it is amazing how much better a person you can be 20 years later.
Yeah.
In
some cases that can be a good thing, but in some cases it can be a real negative thing and hurt people's feelings and you know, cause problems in relationships and things like that.
So here's an example of this, but this is not an example of Thomas. This is just a general example. So a family unexpectedly moves to a new city. A person with high change tolerance might say, this wasn't our plan, but let's explore new opportunities and make the best of it, and everybody get over it, and it's going to be fine, and don't worry about it, and why are you upset?
Yeah.
So that can be kind of a challenge or a weakness of that person.
Yeah. But like when I was just thinking again about the move and transition here to Florida, we're coming up on 5 years in just a couple of months, which is crazy that 5 years has gone that fast. But I had a friend call me. They're thinking about making a similar move, and so I was kind of just thinking about how things played out here, and recalling with the girls how difficult of a transition it was for them to leave their friends and leave their family and move to this new place where we literally don't know anybody. And I remember us talking about the fact that, hey, we just need to like let the girls feel their emotions and give them time. And there were certain things that we had to talk to them about and things. Yeah, not just like, just get over it. Like we've been here a couple months now. Like, just get over it. Like, people don't just get over it. It does take time, more time for others, some people than others. But so that's kind of the high tolerance. Let's talk a little bit about low tolerance here. So someone with low change tolerance generally prefers predictability.
Yes.
Routine and familiarity.
Yes. That's
which
me.
You love all those things. Change can feel stressful or overwhelming.
Yes.
So here's some common characteristics. Likes consistency and established routines.
Yes.
Needs time to process major changes.
Oh, yeah.
And then prefers planning before making decisions, which you are
goodness,
a major planner.
Yes.
Major planner.
Yeah, you should see my list. My lists in general, but then just because we have a wedding, the lists are like insane.
And it's kind of funny to think about, like, when it comes to change tolerance, we are literally opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, I don't know that we could be farther apart in this area.
Yeah. But we still have a happy marriage, and so can you.
Yes, you can do it. So, but somebody with low change tolerance may experience increased anxiety during transitions.
Yeah, definitely.
So something to be mindful of. Often ask lots of questions before embracing something new.
Yes. Have you ever felt that way about me?
Yes, asking a lot of questions.
Does it annoy you?
I would say early on, yes, but part of that had to do with my lack of understanding of the differences when it came to change tolerance. So I did have a mentality where it's just like, this is not a big deal. Just get over it. This is it,
Yeah.
So the
questions were annoying back then.
Yeah, that was part of it. Understanding the way that you work and think now, I'm okay with the questions, because a lot of the stuff, it's like I don't necessarily think of it, think to communicate that ahead of time or whatever, and so the questions kind of help me help you through the process. So I'm okay with the questions, and I understand the reasoning behind them. Whereas before it was almost like, you know how those of you with kids, you have your toddlers go through a stage where they're asking why all the time about every little thing. And like the first question or two, it's like, okay. And then when it just keeps going on, you're like, oh dear God, make it stop.
Right.
Like, here's a cookie, go play or go watch TV. Like, I'm tired of answering questions.
Right. So you feel that way?
I don't feel that way now. There have been times early on in our marriage. Yeah.
Did you just call me a toddler?
Toddler-like. Youthful. Very youthful. You're a youthful woman.
Way to spin it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about strengths for people like me.
Yes, you do have strengths.
Believe it or not. Okay.
Yeah.
Dependable and consistent.
Yes, and you are very dependable. Yeah.
Okay. Thinks carefully before making decisions.
Yes, that's true.
Definitely. Values stability and security. Often notices potential problems others overlook.
Yeah, and this has actually been very helpful. It's one of the great things about how different we are, whether it's our personal lives or even at the church. As I talk about changes and things like that, Lysandra is often like, well, have you thought about this and this and this? And there's been cases where it's like, no, I didn't really think about that. That's not going to stop the change, but it's going to help me lead others better through the change and deal with problems that could arise before they become problems.
And let me say this, if you are like me and your spouse is like my husband, when you bring up the potential issues with the change that you can see, don't throw it in their face, don't be the wet blanket, but like Thomas said, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Or like, I understand that this is going to be great, but along the process, have you considered this? So saying something positive about the change, not just always being the person who's like, it's never going to work because of this. It's never going to work. Because that's how I used to be.
Yes. Well, and
out of fear though, out of fear.
Yeah. And I would also early on when I was younger, I would shut it down also. Like she'd talk about problems and I'd just kind of shut her down.
It felt like from my end, I wasn't allowed to share the things that were scaring me about the change.
Yeah. Or I know you have voiced that you didn't feel like valued as far as like your thoughts and ideas and things like that. And so that was an issue to deal with early on, and some of that had to do with my own personal insecurities and things like that as well, and just being younger and immature as a leader. So,
Yep. But we've grown through all of that, which has been so good. But it's neat when you think back to that, like to feel how good things are now, how well we communicate. I do feel valued. You listen to me. It's so good now. And
now, actually when we're getting ready to make this change or this transition, like I'm waiting to hear from Lysandra about what are the possible things that could go wrong or problems that could arise that I'm not necessarily thinking of. Because I typically, when it comes to change, I think about, okay, what are the benefits of this? Like, how can this cause growth in the organization, the church, personal life, family, whatever? And a lot of times I don't necessarily think about, okay, these are the problems that could be created. Right. And so it's neat when you ask me those and you're waiting for the question, waiting for me to have my thoughts. It makes me feel respected and valued and appreciated. And I really am grateful for that now. Okay, potential challenges. Let's talk about my weaknesses, shall we? Let's do it.
Your favorite time of the episode. May resist necessary changes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's true.
Absolutely. Can become overwhelmed by uncertainty. Yes. May interpret unexpected changes as threatening.
Sure.
Yes. Needs additional time and reassurance during transition. I do. The same family moves to a new city and a person with low change tolerance might feel anxious, miss familiar routines, and need time to adjust before feeling settled. And this can come out in like anger, resentment, getting quiet, passive-aggressive comments.
Chick.
I'm just listing like stuff that I've done in the past. But the key is neither is better or worse, right? It's not like you're a better person because you can handle change better than I can, and I'm not a worse person because I can't. Right.
And even as we have been conversing about this, if you've been paying attention, you see how, the strength, there are strengths on both sides. And if you highlight and take advantage of those strengths, your whole family, your relationship, whatever you're doing, is better because of it and can better handle and adapt to the situations that happen in life, whether it's something that you chose or some unexpected thing that has happened.
Yeah.
And so they are differences, right? They're not character flaws because you're one way or another. Right. Healthy families and teams often benefit from having both perspectives. And that's been so true of Lysandra and I. And I'm actually very thankful that we are on extreme opposites because it has helped us in a lot of ways. It's helped us just as humans individually to learn and grow and become better, communicate better, and all of that. So it is something to look at as far as like, hey, this is a positive thing for our family. Maybe it's your organization that you're thinking about or whatever else. To understand, like, hey, high change tolerance brings flexibility, optimism, and adaptability. Low change tolerance brings that stability, the caution, the thoughtful planning that is so necessary. And the goal isn't to change your temperament, but to grow in your ability to respond well when change is necessary. And there are times where it's just like change is necessary.
Yeah, and I would add that the goal isn't to change your spouse's temperament.
Yes, that is a great point.
And to change how they deal with change. But if you can recognize that the differences and have some understanding, then you can make this even a better benefit. So here are some ideas that can help you when you're approaching change.
Okay.
Give the low tolerance person some appropriate opportunities to understand what you're trying to do. Give them some time to process it. Okay. So like high tolerance, your high tolerance. If I was going to deal with you, which I have to deal with you all the time.
I love that I sound like a problem to deal with.
You sound like a problem to deal with. If I'm gonna solve this horrible problem over here, I have to give you some opportunities to explore and problem solve. I have to let you change some stuff. Yeah. And I have to also understand that as you are changing and you're pursuing your vision and everything, that's going to benefit me. Even though it's going to be hard, the process of getting to the end is going to be difficult for me, but it's going to benefit me in the end. So I've got to give you some space for that. And then another thing that I can do is help you slow down and consider others' feelings, which is like the story of my life. Yes. The story of my life is me being like, babe, this is how they feel. Wait, they're going to feel this way. Yeah. Like that's like our whole marriage. Yes. I've been doing that to Thomas. And then the other thing I can do is encourage Thomas to have patience with family members who need more time, which may be me, but it also may be one of our daughters, or it may be his mother. Yeah, my mom has a really hard time with change. So those are ways that I can help you as a high change person. All right, so somebody with low change tolerance, okay? This is how you can be a help to them. And something that I've actively tried to work on over the years and to learn. So first of all, give advance notice whenever possible. So notice that says whenever possible. Sometimes change is literally just boom there. Yeah. And we find ourselves here and now we've got to figure out what to do from here. But that's not the case most of the time, right? Most of the time we've kind of thought about it. There is time to consider it, to give advanced warning and all that, whether you're talking about, hey, I might have this opportunity for, a promotion here, or to seek this job that's going to be a better situation here. And that may mean moving to a different location or this or that. And so a lot of times we know ahead of time and we've thought about things ahead of time. Well, we need to make sure we're giving that notice when possible. Explain what will change, first of all. Yes. Like, this is what's going to change. All right, what's going to stay the same? And the more information you can give me, the better I feel. Yeah. The more I know, the more in control I feel. So even with something like, to me, the changes we made with the podcast are like very small, insignificant when it comes to changing. They're huge. Yeah, that's how she feels, right? So that's because we're at opposite ends. Right. And so it's
it goes a long way for me to explain to her ahead of time. In fact, we set up the podcast before we ever recorded the first one with this setup. We set it up ahead of time, sat in the chairs, let her get a feeling and kind of get a idea of what's going to happen, and just did a practice run. Like, just, hey, this is what's going to change, right? Instead of more like a radio show, it's more like a TV show. Try to put it in things that she could think about.
Put it in
and
some other
evaluate.
terms where I can try to wrap my mind around it.
Talk about what's going to stay the same, right? In my opinion, most of what we're doing is staying the exact same, and how the things that we're talking about and all those sorts of things. Small tweaks to the opening, to the closing, things like that.
I did not like.
Yeah. And so, but
I'm working at it.
giving them something to work with and kind of wrap their minds around. So this is what's going to change, but also, hey, what's going to stay the same? And making sure that they can hold on to that stability, because that's very important to them. Mm-hmm. So even if you're making huge transitions, right? You're moving, and we've done that. You move from one state all the way across the country to another state. There's a lot that's changed. Okay, what's the same? We're still going in. We're going to lead a church. We've done that before. Our marriage is still going to be the main priority in our lives. Our kids are going to be a priority. And so just talking about these are the things that are going to remain stable. And that goes a long way. Maintain familiar routines during transitions. So it's like, okay, making sure we still have family days and meals together and these sorts of things, so that those routines are still in place, and that helps them feel safe and secure in the midst of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Here's an important one. Allow time for questions and emotional processing. And this was especially important for our daughters when we made the change and transition here was, and we agreed on this and talked about this, we're going to let them feel their feelings. Now, they still need to be kind, and we had to have some conversations with them about that, being kind and loving to people, and right? But feeling your feelings is okay, however you feel about the situation, the change, the transition, and whatever. And allowing the questions.
Right. Welcoming them.
Yeah. Inviting the questions and giving the best answer that you possibly can, the fullest answer you possibly can, which, as we already mentioned, was something I kind of had to learn along the way of how important that was for Lysandra and my daughters and others that I lead through change. And then offer reassurance without dismissing their concerns. Like, I understand why this is uncomfortable for you, why there might be a little fear or trepidation, but I want to assure you that everything is going to be fine because of X, Y, or Z. And you're letting them know, hey, I've thought about this, I've processed that, or I hear your concern, that's a great point, but I think because of that, what you just brought up, we can do this, and that will help to take care or alleviate that situation.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, so if you are like me and you don't like change, I want to give you a couple of verses that I hold on to.
Okay.
This is probably one of my very favorite verses in all of Scripture, and it is Isaiah. I'm sorry. I read the wrong
It's one of my
favorite. One of my favorite verses. That, no, not Isaiah.
I don't know what verse it is, but it's my favorite.
Hebrews 13:8. Hebrews 13:8.
Can I just ask you something? How long have you been leading churches?
23 years.
Yeah.
But I've always been really bad with the scripture reference. The verses I have memorized, the references I'm real shaky on.
How long has this been one of your favorite verses?
About 30 years. But I rarely say the scripture reference. I usually just say the verse, which is...
All right, here we go. Isaiah what?
No, Hebrews 13:8.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever. I love that verse. It's just a reminder, like, he is stable, he is secure, he is the same, he is unchanging. Who he is who he will always be, and it is such a comfort. I love that verse.
Yeah.
Another one that can help you during transition is Isaiah 41:10, and I'm going to shorten it because it's a very long verse, but it's a beautiful verse. Look it up. Fear not, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and I will help you. Okay. And then Ecclesiastes 3:1 can help. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. And so changes are going to happen.
Yes.
And seasons are going to happen. And if you struggle with it, hold on to the verse about Jesus Christ being the same. Hold on to the fact that he will never leave you nor forsake you. And he's going to be with you in the season of change, and understand that like everything will be okay. Change is part of life, and it's time to like get to the point of acceptance and embrace it.
Well, and you bring up such an important thing with Ecclesiastes 3:1 and talking about the fact that for everything there is a season. And maybe this can help those of you who are very low change tolerant, is to understand that it is normal for change to be happening your entire life.
Right.
We don't ever stay the same. We're changing, learning, growing. There's cycles for everything in life. And so, yes, even though these changes are coming, and depending on what season you're in, a couple months ago was Mother's Day. We had our mother-daughter luncheon. Lysandra spoke at it. And one of the things she spoke on was the different seasons of our lives.
Yeah.
And I loved how you kind of highlighted the strengths and the difficulties of each of those seasons for the girls and women who were there. And, there are, with each season comes difficulties and changes that can be hard to deal with. But I think understanding that that's normal, like these changes are normal, a normal part of life, can hopefully help provide that stability, at least in the back of your mind, to know like, okay, this change is coming. I don't necessarily like it. This is a normal part of the process.
Exactly. And that can be comforting. Mm-hmm. And remember that the goal isn't for one spouse to win. The goal is to understand each other well enough that you can move forward together in a healthy way. You want a healthy marriage. You want to approach change in a healthy way. If this is something, though, that really has been an issue in your marriage, or just for you personally, we have a bonus resource we want to offer you. It's called Understanding Your Change Tolerance Assessment. And so we can email this to you. Simply email us at info@familymeeting.org, and we will send you this assessment. It can help you.
So family meeting tonight, you're going to sit down with your spouse and just talk about what your change tolerance level is. And if you don't already know or understand where each other are, this is a process of kind of learning that, figuring out what the extremes are. Talk about like what are the difficulties that you have with change and all of that. And then talk about what are the changes that we're currently going through or getting ready to step into. Right. For us, we're thinking down the road. We have the wedding that we've talked about on this episode, and that's going to bring some change to our household, with 3 of our daughters here at the house now instead of 4. But we're literally just a few years away from empty nest. Like our youngest daughter is 16. And so, yes, she's here for a couple more years, maybe more, depending upon life and how things go. But we're in this season of transition. And so you may have different transitions coming up. Maybe it is a change at work, a move, or something like that. Talk about that. Like, what are the changes we have coming up? What are the benefits of that? How is that going to be a benefit to us and to our family? What are the challenges? And each of you, because you have a different change tolerance, you'll notice different good things about it. You'll also notice different problems that could arise because of it. And then that'll give you an opportunity together to be able to work through whatever those difficulties are and strengthen your marriage, relationship, and family because of it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us today. If you have not yet, go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast, please, from your favorite podcast provider, and share this episode on your socials.
For everything else Family Meeting, go to our website. You see it right there on the screen, familymeeting.org.
All right. So next week, we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting. We're going to discuss something that our children should hear us say frequently, and it was modeled by God himself in Luke chapter 3. And that's all I want to tell everybody about.
Okay.
Because if you want to know ahead of time, you have to go read Luke chapter 3. If you want to be surprised, just show up next week and we'll talk about it. But every parent should say this, and every child should hear their parents say this frequently. And God was our model for it. So
okay, I'm like super curious. I have no idea what this is or what you're going to be.
We talked about it on our walk around town center like 2 days ago.
I don't listen to you.
Wow.
So
you have failed as a husband.
I remember you bringing it up. I remember not fully understanding. So
I had to explain it to him twice, and he doesn't remember it now.
hopefully before we're sitting in these chairs again, I'll know exactly what we're talking about. But
Fingers
if not,
crossed.
I'll be surprised with all of you who are watching and listening. So thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.